this giant bull run that we've been seeing, a lot of it has been speculation regarding these specific futures contracts. Now, there's an old saying in the market, right? Buy the rumor, sell the news. And this is exactly what's happening here on a very large scale. We had people buying up on the expectation that Bakkt is going to launch, and then they launched, and then people sold the news.
Now, there's another saying as well, which they use in the markets, which is buy the dip. Welcome back with me, Jessica Walker. We're here to talk about all things crypto and blockchain. Now, if you are a fan of the space and you want to keep up to date, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Now joining me, we have the one and only Matty Greenspan, Senior Market Analyst at eToro, to help work out what has been going on in the markets. Matty, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks a lot for having me.
Very welcome. Who else is I going to turn to in this time that we're seeing? What a crazy 24 hours we've seen, and I want to get your opinion on what has been going on.
Yeah, so what we have is kind of a mix, in any kind of market analysis, you have the technical analysis, which is what's happening on the charts, and the fundamental analysis, which is what's happening on the news. And both of them have kind of been bearish. The technical analysis and the charts, this has kind of been playing out for a few weeks already. I've been blogging and tweeting about it nonstop, and it finally happened. So what we have here is a very flat psychological level, which is around $9,000 per coin. And then you have these series of lower highs. This pattern is known in technical analysis as a downward-facing triangle or descending triangle, and the most likely outcome of that is a break to the downside. Now, what I've been blogging about is that if we do get that break to the downside, the most likely level of support is coming from this indicator over here. This blue line is called the 200-day moving average. And the 200-day moving average has long been an indicator that helps us identify Bitcoin's trend. If we zoom out a little bit, we can see that during the 2017 bull run, that 200-day moving average played a very big role. And then even during the 2018 bear run, you can see that it acted kind of as a resistance point where the price did not dare to poke above. And then on the April 2nd, famous April 2nd surge, it broke above that blue line and has been above ever since, indicating that we are kind of in a bear market, a bull market, or bullish, I would say. So now we're testing it again. And this is exactly what's happening. So that's the technical side. On the fundamental side, we have kind of a trifecta of things that are happening. So number one is the Bakkt launch. Number two is the hash rate wars, there was a sudden plunge in Bitcoin's hash rate. And number three, which is kind of a weird one, you can see that the stock market actually crashed a little bit before Bitcoin over here. So this orange line is the U.S. stock market, and you can see that this plunge actually directly preceded the plunge in Bitcoin.
If we start with, because you've mentioned three reasons there for fundamental analysts why we might have seen this price drop in Bitcoin, one of those being the hash crash. So the Bitcoin network saw a hash rate drop of around 40%. When we look at this, is this as serious as it sounds if you are a Bitcoin investor, or if you are just in this space, does this pose a risk of a bigger problem here?
Okay, so that's an excellent question. And here we can see the Bitcoin hash rate as provided by blockchain info. So let's look at it over the last year. Now, to give a little bit of a background, I mean, ever since the Bitcoin price started trending upward again at the beginning of this year, the hash rate has been rising very, very quickly. And this is the all-time high over here, was just a week and a half ago of 103 quintillion hashes per second. A lot. Anyways, now I don't want to go into the depths of how this hash rate is calculated or anything like that. What I wanted to show is that the hash rate just the other day did take a big dip. So it went from 103 all the way down to about 67. So people were saying, oh my gosh, there's been a huge drop in the hash rate. The hash rate is basically the total amount of computing power that miners are deploying in order to secure the Bitcoin network. So some people are saying or said that the Bitcoin network was less secure. Now, I'm really not an alarmist in any sense of the word, but if you just look at the chart, even that plunge, it only took us back to where the hash rate was a month before that plunge. So really, I mean, if you're just looking at those type of simple metrics, you can see that this isn't a real reason to panic. Bitcoin isn't any less secure than it was last month.
And I think I fall into this guilty category of, based on the charts that you're showing on us now, Matty, it looks like the hash rate is actually quite volatile anyway. I think when I looked at the chart yesterday, I thought, oh my God, that was a massive dip. But what you're showing here is that actually this is quite a volatile chart anyway. It's not particularly calm and smooth. Now, we do have one Twitter user that spoke out before the Bakkt launch and said that if we do see bankers coming and banks trying to short after the Bakkt launch, we might see a drop in price of around 20%. And he's obviously retweeted this because we have seen this price drop. Was there a correlation here? Was this something that you would pinpoint as being an accurate reason for what we have seen from the price action recently?
Definitely. In fact, my main, the main catalyst for this drop, I mean, other than the technical charts which has been playing out, as far as the fundamental side, is that Bakkt launch. Not just the fact, well, the fact that Bakkt launched a physically settled Bitcoin futures contract that is readily available for all traders on Wall Street is a huge milestone for the industry. However, what we saw is that the volumes out the gate, or as from when they started on Sunday, have been really, really small. I mean, the first day that it was open, within 24 hours, they traded less than $1 million worth of Bitcoin, which is, it's less than pocket change for those type of players. In fact, on the same day that it launched, the CME futures contracts on Bitcoin traded about $300 million worth of volume. So the launch was really less than a lot of traders were expecting. Now, most of this this giant bull run that we've been seeing, a lot of it has been speculation regarding these specific futures contracts. Now, there's an old saying in the market, right? Buy the rumor, sell the news. And this is exactly what's happening here on a very large scale. We had people buying up on the expectation that Bakkt is going to launch, and then they launched, and then people sold the news.
Now, there's another saying as well, which they use in the markets, which is buy the dip. I do want to ask you now, if we look at the situation that we're in, where do we go from here? How do people proceed moving forward if you are a trader or you are looking at the markets? It looks like a potentially daunting time.
Okay, so I actually deployed that statement myself last night. Once it hit that blue line, that was my buy signal. I added about 2.5% of my overall equity into Bitcoin. Obviously, this is not trading advice. The usual disclaimers apply. Past performance is not an indication of future results. Overall, though, the total asset allocation that I have right now in cryptocurrencies is about 11%. So it's not an incredible, I mean, for some people that would be considered very aggressive. For me, that's kind of conservative right now. I want to see things trending upward before I'll go more heavy into crypto.
And it's also an extremely exciting time. Matty, thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to hear your insights. Thank you so much, and we look forward to seeing you on the stage in Malta. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Well, that's all for myself and Matty Greenspan from eToro. We would love to hear how you found this interview segment, so share your thoughts with us and see you in November.